I'm sitting with Captain Andreas Ritter from Lufthansa. And Andreas, what I'd like to talk to you about today is EFB. Perhaps for our viewers, we could start off by you sharing a little bit about your flying history.
Thank you, Edison. I'm 43 years old. I'm a captain for Lufthansa, currently flying A330 and A340. And for the last, 15 years, I have also been working in the office, mostly in the area of data link and electronic flight bag.
And let's get to EFBs then. You use the EFB, obviously. Can you give us an idea of how using the EFB has changed your job as a pilot? What kind of impact it has?
If you introduce an EFB, the paper goes away. That's usually the first business case. So that means instead of looking information up in paper, you now have a computer and documentation tool. And the information access is becoming easier, and you have access to more information. You have information at your fingertips.
And on a day-to-day basis, is there a way that you can sort of show a change? Does it save you time?
Yeah, I mean, you're not flying faster, and the turnaround is also not getting shorter if you use an EFB, but you can make better decisions if you use an EFB.
Right, so it's interesting. In the other interviews that I've done, the pilots I've typically spoken to, the first thing they talk about is safety. In other words, because they have information that they need to process, they do it much faster. They have more time to thinking about flying the plane instead of looking up on pieces of paper for certain things that they need.
Sure. In the past, finding a specific, let's say, airport chart during cruise flight could take you a minute, maybe two, in some cases, if you don't know where to look in which folder. And now it's a matter of a few seconds, and time can be very important if you have a critical situation. And let's say you have a fire on board and you have to quickly make a decision if you can land at a certain airport, then it's a great relief to have an EFB.
Right. So on a day-to-day basis, there's nothing particularly compelling then that you find from the EFB?
We have still talked only about the paper replacement, like charts and manuals, but that's not all you can do with an EFB. EFBs nowadays get connected and can bring you even more information you never had in paper, like current weather, for example. And this is also increasing safety.
How do you get live feed to your EFBs while you're flying?
We have an e-enabling project at Lufthansa, and we use communication media already installed in the aircraft. At Lufthansa we have a Flynet, internet on board for passengers, which we will use. We have done test flights together with our partners, and now we will start to use it operational. And also existing quite old networks like ACAS can be connected to the EFB, and we have trials also in that area.
And it's interesting that the Inflight WiFi, the passengers don't see any change in bandwidth use by the crew. In other words, it's a low footprint.
I'm not sure if I get your question, but let me give you a little bit background of how we do this. We are not connecting the EFB the same way passengers connect to the Flynet system. We are using a wired connection, and it's also separated in a separate network segment.
Right.
So there's no mixing of EFB with passenger devices.
Okay. So let's talk about from an airline point of view, operationally, what's in it for an airline to go down the road of deploying EFBs? I've heard people talk about fuel savings, weight savings for the. In your case at Lufthansa, what is the compelling business case for the airlines?
The compelling case is always safety for Lufthansa. We want to increase flight safety, and this drives a lot of my team because we believe flying safer is the most important overall. Saving fuel is next. Saving money, increasing passenger comfort is also important. But to give you an example, if you know where thunderstorms are on the intertropical convergence zone, you can safely navigate around them, and this is important.
Right. In terms of EFBs, is there anything in your experience that would make you feel that they don't live up to their reputation, that maybe there's a bit of a disappointment? Is there anything that you've come across that's negative about EFB?
What's negative about EFB is that they use power, and nothing can compare to paper when it comes to reliability. So you have to find mitigation means, because an EFB, like every computer, can fail, and you have to prepare for this situation. There are multiple ways how to do it. One is, of course, redundancy.
Right.
And currently we have two, in some of our fleets, three EFB. And we are currently investigating to go even to 4 EFB. Not because we have a high failure rate, but because we want to eliminate paper even as a backup means.
Right. Have you ever had an EFB fail on you in flight?
I never had one. We have had EFB failures, but never in our 10-year history of EFB usage, or I mean by 13 years history, we never had a double failure.
Right.
But even if you have a double failure, I mean, what happens is you still fly to your destination and land safely at the airport,
Right.
because there are also mitigation means for that. But it never happened.
Last question for you. Obviously, you're part of the 21st century, so you have a smartphone. Do you find having an EFB, like some of the other personal technologies, that once you have it, you can't live without it?
Yes. And
So-
I never heard of an airline which removed EFB, at least not class 1 or 2 EFBs.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, Edison.